There is someone who carries such an intense feeling for you that they can no longer hide it. Every day this person fights an internal battle full of doubts and insecurities while trying to find the right moment to say everything they've kept inside. This love is on the verge of overflowing, and when that happens, it will be impossible to go back. Are you prepared to hear what might change everything? This someone is not just anybody. It's not someone who goes unnoticed, nor someone who simply crossed your path by chance. It's someone who, perhaps without you realizing it, observes every detail about you. The way you speak, how you smile, the way your eyes change color depending on the light. To this person, you are not just special, you are essential. What they feel is not a fleeting passion, nor something that can be ignored or forgotten over time. It is a feeling that grows silently, but at the same time uncontrollably, occupying every space in their mind. With each encounter, even brief, with each exchange of glances or words spoken without pretense, this love strengthens, even when they try to stifle it. But here's what makes this even more intense. This person doesn't know how you would react. They wonder if the feeling they carry would be reciprocated, or if it would end up being just another illusion. That's why silence has been their response so far. They are afraid of destroying something that already exists between you, of losing the connection that, even discreet, is so important to them. And it is precisely because of this fear that this confusion grows. It is a confusion that mixes the desire to take a risk with the fear of losing. On one hand, there is the almost desperate need to speak, to open their heart, to pour everything out. But on the other hand, there is the dread of hearing a response that would hurt. Have you ever stopped to think how devastating this could be for someone? This person, however, has reached a point where they can no longer continue in this way. The silence no longer provides relief. On the contrary, it consumes. Every day, the courage to open up fights against the fear of possible rejection. The love they feel is greater than any word that can be said, and maybe that's exactly why it's so hard to put it into words. Did you notice something? Perhaps a longer glance? A message that seemed to have more meaning than usual? Small gestures that to anyone else would go unnoticed, but for you may have already caused some doubt. If you haven't noticed yet, maybe it's time to pay more attention. And here's the critical point. Soon, this person may no longer be able to keep everything to themselves. It could be an unexpected conversation, a confession in a common moment, or even a message full of words they couldn't say in person. The fact is, when that moment comes, it will be impossible to ignore. When that happens, what will you do? Will you be ready to listen? Will you be prepared to deal with the intensity of something that, until now, you might not have imagined existed? Because regardless of how you choose to respond, the dynamic between you will change. There's no way to go back to what it was before. And it's precisely this point that makes everything so delicate. To this person, you represent more than you think. It's not just about attraction or admiration. It's about something deeper. It's about the way you make them feel seen, even in moments when no one else seems to pay attention. It's about how your presence brightens their most difficult days. But in the end, what she wants is not just to be heard. She wants to be understood. She wants you to understand how difficult it has been to carry this feeling alone, without knowing if the path she chose, the path of saying nothing, was the right one. She wants you to realize that it wasn't weakness, but true love that led her to keep everything until now. And perhaps in this process you will discover something about yourself. Maybe you'll realize that there was something about her that always caught your attention, but for some reason you chose to ignore. Maybe the words she will say will awaken feelings that you never knew were there. Or perhaps you'll realize that even with all her sincerity, what you feel is different. Either way, the moment everything is laid out on the table will be a turning point. So what remains now is the inevitable. The truth will come out sooner or later, and when that happens, it will be impossible to pretend that nothing has changed. You will have to make a choice, and as scary as that may seem, it can also be liberating. Because in the end, love, even when complicated, is always an opportunity for growth. Are you prepared for this? To look into this person's eyes and for the first time, understand what she truly feels? Are you ready to deal with the possibility that maybe this love is something you want too, or at least something you need to understand before deciding what to do? Time is passing, and with it the tension grows. This person is not expecting a perfect answer, nor words that will solve everything immediately. What she wants is just for you to listen, to allow her to open up without fear, without judgment, without rush. Because for her, that alone will be a relief. And regardless of how you choose to react, remember one thing: love, when it is true, is never easy. It comes full of challenges, doubts, and sometimes even pain. But it is also what makes us human, what makes us grow, what connects us to each other in ways we never imagined. So, when the moment comes, and it will come, take a deep breath, look into that person's eyes, and listen. Because even if you don't realize it now, what they have to say could change not only their destiny, but also yours. Every detail matters. Every silence speaks louder than any word could. Don't think that this person is acting impulsively or that they haven't considered the consequences. On the contrary, they spent sleepless nights imagining all the possibilities, all the scenarios that could unfold. They thought of every response you could give, from the most hopeful to the most devastating. They rehearsed what to say, reviewed the words mentally so many times that they've lost count. Sometimes the courage almost came, in the moments when you were together, when the words seemed about to escape. But then fear would take over, and everything would go back to being a well-kept secret. You might not have noticed, but there were moments when they wanted to say everything but chose to smile and change the subject. And those moments tore them apart inside because they knew that with each silence, they were delaying the inevitable, delaying the chance to finally release what they feel, even if it means risking losing something important. Now, they are at a crossroads. What to do? Stay silent and continue to carry this feeling alone? Or take the next step, the one that could change everything? There is a limit to what the human heart can endure, and they are reaching that limit. Maybe you think you are ready to listen, but are you really? What could this confession stir up inside of you? It's easy to think that nothing will change, that things can continue as they are, but that's an illusion. When such deep feelings are exposed, they have the power to transform everything around. This person doesn't want to scare you or place a responsibility on you that you didn't ask for. That's not it. What they want is something much simpler, but at the same time, incredibly difficult. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be understood. Have you ever wondered what it means to be loved in this way? To be the center of someone's thoughts, the reason why this person's days have color and purpose. Maybe you've never stopped to think about it. Maybe you've never imagined the impact you have on someone's life. But now, you will have to face this reality. And when the moment comes, their confession won't be just about spoken words, it will be about everything that has been implied until now. It will be about the looks that lasted a second longer, the smiles that were given with a bit more intention, the gestures that seemed insignificant but carried so much meaning. This person has already loved you in silence for long enough. They have already fought against themselves, tried to pretend they felt nothing, even tried to distance themselves to see if the feelings would diminish. But none of that worked. Because true love, when it arises, cannot be erased. It remains, persists, even when it's ignored. Now think for a moment. What if it were you in their place? What if you were the one who carries this love, this doubt, this desire to open up, and at the same time the fear of losing everything? How would you want someone to react? Understanding this may be the key to dealing with what is to come. This love is not a choice. It's not something she decided to feel. It's something that simply happened. And no matter how much she tried to ignore, hide, or even forget it, it was impossible. And now it stands before you. The question that remains is, how will you react? Will it be with empathy, with openness, with understanding? Or will it be with hesitation, with distance, with fear of dealing with something so intense? No answer is simple, and she knows that. But what matters is how you choose to handle this situation. The time she took to gather the courage and come here is a reflection of the importance you hold. It was not an impulsive decision. It was a thought-out, painful, but necessary choice. She wants you to know this, even if she never says it in such clear words. And when you hear what she has to say, don't just pay attention to what is said. Observe what lies between the lines. Perceive the vulnerability she is placing before you. This is not something easy to do, and the fact that she is opening up is a sign of trust, of respect, of love. But remember, she expects nothing from you. She doesn't expect you to reciprocate. She doesn't expect an immediate answer, not even that you feel the same way. What she hopes for is that you listen, that you give her the chance to be honest, to finally free herself from the burden she has carried for so long. And if by chance there is something within you that responds to this feeling, even if it's something small, something you never recognized before, perhaps this is your chance to explore it. Perhaps this is the opportunity to start something new, something you never imagined, but that could turn out to be amazing. However, if what you feel is different, that's okay. There's no guilt in not reciprocating love, as long as you are honest and respectful. This person is prepared to hear any response as long as it is sincere. What she couldn't bear is indifference, disdain, the lack of acknowledgement for what she feels. So once again I ask, are you prepared? Prepared to listen, to understand, to deal with something so human, so real, so intense? Because when that moment arrives, it won't just be about her. It will also be about you, about the kind of person you choose to be, about the way you choose to respond to something so true. And in a way, it will be about all of us. Because deep down, what she feels is something that we have all felt, or that at some point we will feel. The desire to be loved, to be understood, to be accepted. This is one of the most human experiences that exist. And that is what makes all of this so powerful. The decision is getting closer, and the moment is taking shape before you. When it arrives, it will no longer be possible to escape or postpone. It will be a turning point, and everything will depend on how you choose to act. Now, I ask again, are you ready for what comes next? The time has come. This moment that has been postponed so many times, that caused sleepless nights, silent tears, and a whirlwind of feelings that could no longer be controlled. This person is about to do something that requires more courage than you imagine, to open her heart and show you everything she feels. And now you are at the center of this. This confession is not just about her. It's about you, about what you represent, about how your existence was able to touch someone so deeply. It's about the impact you have on someone's life, even without realizing it. When everything is revealed, you will have the power to change the course of things. And yes, that can be scary, but it can also be extraordinary. Because in love, there are no guarantees, but there is the opportunity to grow, to learn, to feel. This person is preparing to be vulnerable in a way that few have the courage to be. They are ready to show you not only what they feel, but also what they are afraid of losing. Not because they want something in return, but because the love they carry is so great that it can no longer be kept silent. Now it is up to you to choose how to handle this. You can embrace it, reflect on it, and you might even not know what to say immediately. And that's okay. The important thing is that you listen. Listen with your heart, with empathy, with the respect that this situation demands. So when that moment comes, remember, it's more than just words. It's a piece of her soul being handed over to you. A gesture of courage that deserves to be received with care. Whatever your response is, it will be a milestone. For her, it will be the release of a burden she has carried alone for so long. For you, it will be the chance to understand something that was there so close, but perhaps never clearly noticed. And now I want to know from you, how would you react if you were at the center of this situation? Have you ever gone through something similar, either in the place of the one who feels or the one who receives this confession? Share in the comments, because stories like this are part of all our lives. If this message resonated with you in any way, leave your like and subscribe to the channel to receive more content like this. Your interaction helps strengthen this community of people who seek to better understand feelings and human relationships. Don't forget to comment with the phrase, "I listened to the end because I understand the power of love and vulnerability." We want to know your opinion and your experience, and remember, love, no matter how complicated it is always an opportunity for connection. When you are faced with it, choose to act with courage and empathy. This choice can change not only your life, but also that of someone who already sees you as the most important person in the world.